You know, I think the biggest challenge of discovering ultimate truth is that our minds are already filled with the truth that we think we already know, but that in reality is a lie. But we don't think the truth that we think we know is a lie, of course. We think what we know is the truth, and that it's real, and that it's what we are, and it's how the world is. So, you know, we're not willing to let go of it easily. And this, in a nutshell, is why it's so hard to discover the actual spiritual truth within us, because we think we already know, and so we don't really seek the truth. You know, the great Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "To know that you do not know is best. To pretend to know when you do not know is a disease." Now, when Lao Tzu was talking about pretending to know when you do not know, he wasn't talking about people walking around pretending to know the truth when they knew that they didn't know, right? He was talking about people pretending to know the truth unintentionally. He was talking about people telling lies inadvertently, pretending to know when they don't know because they had accepted the lies that were told to them. And that's why he used the word disease, because what is a disease but a widespread sickness passed from one source to another through an interaction of some sort, right? And so the biggest challenge to anyone seeking truth is the truth that they think they already have in their heads, the stuff that they think that they have already figured out. Because let me tell you a secret, the truth, when you discover it for yourself, could not be further removed from what you think it is. You know, right? And ironically, you know, the thing that we use to try to figure it all out, our mind, is what puts up the biggest roadblocks to our discovering ultimate truth. Because when we start showing the ugliness of the lies that the mind creates to the mind itself, when we start talking about the problems our mind has with the mind, just like someone with an addiction, our mind wants to jump into denial. The mind says, well, I don't have any problems with how I'm doing things. You know, when we start to show the mind its own ugliness, the mind wants to reject that. And it says, you know, I'm not ugly. I don't create pain and suffering. My thoughts are not illusions. They're important. This is the way things are. This is, you know, this stuff within our mind is reality. Those ideas about the mind and identity being a problem are evil and confusing. Stop. You know, this is why even Horace, back before the time of Jesus, said, rule your mind or it will rule you. And that's why one of the oldest Zen sayings is, be master of mind rather than mastered by mind. This is why Buddhism calls it the monkey mind, because a monkey is tough to control and left to its own motivations will usually cause mischief. So, you know, and this is the great paradox of the mind in the spiritual search, and there are paradoxes all over spirituality, but the mind's natural processes are what create pain and suffering for humans in the first place. So when we show the mind its own flaws and it starts to run away because it doesn't want to see its own ugliness, that right there cements us into experiencing pain and suffering on a level that is unparalleled in the history of the universe. So our minds throw us on the grenade to save itself, which is why we need to understand the mind in our spiritual search and take control of it. Because the biggest challenge we must overcome in the search for spiritual truth is the mind itself, because it's the mind that creates the thoughts and rejections that lead back to unconscious path.